Hello, everybody. I can say that now because we can see you. Welcome to the latest episode of Let's Unpack That. It's episode 31. Um, yeah, it's insane. See, now we have faces. You guys know what we look like. Unless you're one of those weird people that stalks people. In that case, stop watching this right now, please.
We don't want you here.
I'm one host. I'm one of your hosts, Chevall, and I'm here with my co-host. I'm going to point to him where he is in my window.
I'm over here.
yeah, he's right there. Yeah, that's Cal. Everybody say hi to Cal. And we're officially recording our very first video episode. It'll also be audio too. So if you're listening to this and you're confused, I'm sorry. You should go to YouTube or something instead. I think Spotify has video episodes too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they keep telling me about it. I've never used it. They also have audiobooks now, which I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, you have to pay more for them or something. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk about we can talk about that in a minute.
Intro first.
Finish our intro. No, yeah, but we both have cameras now. We both are, ready to do the whole visual thing. Now you guys can see the panels as we talk about them. See, I can flip them around. Don't want to give any spoilers yet. But yeah, so now we're both video and audio. So this isn't really breaking our backs either. We finally got some equipment we needed. So thanks for everybody who's been sticking around. And if you just start listening now, congratulations. You're getting the better podcast.
They're slowly improving over time. Very slowly, as you can see, this is episode fucking 31. But
yeah, it's 31.
That's what's important.
It's happening. It doesn't matter. You can also see our the really cool shit we have in our rooms now. It's bokeh. It's bokeh the fuck out, but I have all the Berserk stuff over here. Well, I'm using.
Get a good look at my wall real quick.
Yeah, everybody look at all the K-pop stuff.
Yeah, look at my 2 huge K-pop posters. Here's my anime shit. There's my.
It's all.
Board. It's fine.
It's fine. See, I bokeh'd it because they can't see the anime girls in the back. If anybody can actually tell. If anybody can actually tell what those are, that'd be really funny. But Cal already knows what all of them are. I'm pretty sure. It's like Evangelion stuff, but.
I already checked them for all of us, so if you can't see it, it's fine. No, I'm kidding.
God, yeah, no. So now you guys can also see all of our dumb faces. I'll be sure to be rolling my eyes every time Gut speaks for the next 3 or 4 chapters. Also, you can see us cringe at ableist caricatures and terrible things happening to Casca. Yeah, he's back. He's back.
I forgot for 2 seconds, but he sure is back. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm also in a dream state because I've been off work for 4 days. So I was like, oh yeah, we're actually doing this today. So this is the most exciting thing that's happened this week, which is a good thing. Before that, it was beating Splatoon 3. So I think that things.
Oh, you beat it! Yay!
Yeah. Great game. Great little campaign. The one thing I will say is to get the completion where you 100% completion, you have to paint the whole map. Not paint the whole map, but walk in every section of the map.
Oh,
and I was not feeling that. I did it, but I wasn't feeling it the whole time. But no, super fun game. Now I'm just gonna spend 100 hours on Splatoon 2 after this. So yeah, it's all good.
You got the regular story mode and you got DLC, so you are set for a bit with that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing the old game.
It will make it possibly. So
yeah, I'm interested to get into the race war stuff happening in this game.
Yeah, so there's there's a lot of Splatoon lore. I know you got a lot in 3 with all the pages and stuff. There's even more in 2, and it focused more on the Octolings and stuff and what was going on there. There's a lot. I'm not going to spoil any of it for you, but it is very good, and it includes so much good shit. And I know you played 1 too, so there's stuff that refers back to 1 also. So.
Okay, good. I probably need to replay 1. It's been a long time since I played that game. It's been
I can't remember
years.
the last time I watched a playthrough of 1. Should probably revisit it at some point.
Yeah, it's super short. I think it's only 3 or 4 hours long or something. So
it's not bad. They've really I don't know, the way Splatoon has expanded over time is just very cool to me all the time. I'm just man, this game has come so far. There's so much more shit to do. like with the different ranked modes and stuff. Because they added Clan
Mm-hmm.
Blitz after I had stopped playing, or Sasha had stopped playing 2. I didn't really play 2
Mm-hmm.
that much. And then there was some other weapons and stuff. So now, like, we're getting it all in 3. We're like, oh, they really like beefed this up already. So
Yeah, yeah. It's super cool to see them like do so much, especially because Salmon Run. I heard that it was a limited, it was a limited like game type in 2,
yeah,
which is
so
criminal. I don't
annoying.
know.
You
I
would
don't
get
know
like
why
a
you would do
call.
that.
You would get like a call from Grizz, and he's like, "Hey, we're doing a run. Let's fucking go. Clock
Oh
in
my
your
god.
job." And you had like a set time period where you had to like clock in and do the salmon run stuff. So it was like a limited window, like every couple of days, basically, or every day. And if you weren't on at that time, you were just kind of screwed. So
See that? Yeah, no. I like
yeah,
when games do that sometimes, but with a mode like that,
hmm
like because it'd be different if there's like a raid every once in a while or something.
right,
Because
right.
I think that's what they're gonna do with Splatoon 3. I think October they might do like a salmon run event because they're not
I would
doing
like
Splatfest, I don't think. Yeah, so like that's different. I don't know. Limited time modes are always goofy to me in games because I'm like, why are you forcing me to play
that. Right. Don't make me
at
get on
a
right
specific
now.
time? Yeah, like I don't want to play. I would rather play salmon run at 3 a.m.
Yes.
Um,
When all
in
the
the middle of
Japanese
the night.
players are on.
Yeah, and I can rank up because they don't fucking suck at the game. I think there was a report that came out that like over 60% of the games sold in Japan last month were all Splatoon
It was
3.
69%, and I remember that 'cause it's
Nice.
a funny number. But yeah, I'm an adult. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's insane to me. It makes me really happy in a
Mhm.
lot of ways because like Splatoon's just such a good overall game. Like, there's not really anything controversial about it. There's not like anything like crazy going on. It's just like a solid
Yeah.
game. So
No, yeah, it's super good, and the lore stuff in 3, I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's more it's more morbid than you'd be expecting from like a kids
yeah,
game, but it is because I remember like when the game first came out, people were like the first one came out, people were like, it's like post-apocalyptic, right? And then eventually
yeah.
it's like, yes, it is post-apocalyptic. All humans are dead.
Yeah,
So
3 is, like, the
yeah,
most like, leans into that the most because before that, it's just
yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, you're, like there's no humans, there's just shit happening," and you're like, "Wow, that's crazy. Okay. I'm gonna go play Turf War now." But then, like, as, like, the games progress, it, like, becomes more relevant, so I always think
Yeah.
that's really cool too.
The stakes really pick up, honestly.
Yeah.
I looking forward to that. It's been it's been good playing like two very different games because I was playing that in Yakuza 2,
Wow.
Kiwami 2. I finished that. I've been playing it for like I started it like 6 months ago or something, but I would pick it up and put it down like every once in a while. And I finally finished it. It was super good, but I keep thinking in the back of my head, I have like 8 more of these fucking games to
I
play.
know.
Like I'm
I
kind of
think about that all
laughing.
the time.
Yeah, it's like because every time I play one, I'm like, wow, I really like this game, and I'm like, ah, fuck, there's another one right around the corner. So
Yeah, you're like, I can just keep rolling if I wanted to, but
just
I'm gonna
keep.
need a break.
I'm gonna take a small break now because the next game I'm playing is technically like a PS3 game, which isn't
But
bad, but it's not like where they remade the whole game from scratch. It's just like they said, nah, fuck that. We're just gonna re-release them on PS4. Have a good day. So
have fun. There you go.
yes, that's what I'm working with. So very very exciting week at the Price household as Haley works while I do nothing in the background. It's been pretty sweet.
Sounds yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out of town last week for a family wedding, and so I
Yeah.
got back this week, and my work was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Ah," and so that's kind of been my situation, but it'll all be fine. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
no.
I have a job that's like important, but also not important, but also it's vital to the company. So it's just like a very weird position to be in at all times. But
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
it's all good. But I'm doing my more favorite job right now. So the one that I make so much money from.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's all good. See, and that's what matters is We make billions of dollars doing this podcast.
So many. We are actually Hassan, and we stream on Twitch for hours every day. And this is like, no.
I am ex streamer. Yeah. No, no. We just do this because it's fun. Now we can stream stuff too. I do want to play the video game. I found out the video game does not. It was a ladder. I found out the video game actually ends further than I thought it did. It goes after the big breaking point we're leading to, which I was not expecting. So we might start the game. We might not like finish it. It is a long game. I'm sure it's a Warriors game. So
yeah, you will be playing. Yeah, I will be.
Yeah,
encouraging. Zach, every time I tell him that, he's like, all right, have fun, I guess. Like, I don't know why you want to play that. It's like, shit, but like, sure.
Wait, isn't this the same man who plays like Hyrule Warriors and shit?
No,
like,
it's because like this specific game is like notoriously janky.
Oh, so it's a Warriors game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get. See, that's the thing about Nintendo people. They get one polished Warriors game, and they're like, rest of them garbage. It's the same game. It's fine. We do have 2 chapters to get through eventually today. I feel like I'm freaking out because of the whole camera thing. I'm like, wow, I don't want to talk about anything but the fact that we have like a camera.
Yeah, we're so cool. Look at us.
Yeah, we're so cool now.
We're very neurotypical, as you can see.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, I can see myself. Look at this shit.
It's so funny to me that this is like I know like we're talking and we haven't done this before, but like you have another podcast where you are on camera and like recording live.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we used to go live like directly to Twitch. That's absolutely right. I've also streamed before it too, so it's not. It shouldn't be that shocking, but it is, I guess.
Oh, I mean, we haven't like had like a visual. Oh, that's my alarm telling me to eat lunch. Get to otherwise.
Fuck that. We gotta record
lunch. But because like we haven't actually had like a video call or anything in a long time, so like I don't normally see Chevall. He's just like a disembodied voice, even though we've been for like 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, no, we don't see each other physically like in the flesh very often, but I'm usually pretty happy that whenever I turn on the webcam, like I still remember how you look, so it's all good. So it's all.
I'm like, oh, there he is. His hair's slightly longer, but mine stays the same because I shave it all the time. I'm a hairstylist who doesn't like having hair. Which I need to renew my license. I keep forgetting to, and I'm worried that it ran out on accident because like, the week I needed to like really renew it was when all the work stuff hit out of nowhere, and I was just like completely forgot about it until I got back from my trip. So,
oh man,
I'll see about that this weekend.
Yeah, no, you need to get those Redken products again. You know, you can't.
I know. I'm like, I can't do people's hair without this shit. Like, I mean, I can. I can just bother Tina and be like, hey. I give you money for this?
No, exactly. There's loopholes, but I hope you can find a way. I think I might dye my hair again soon because I think I finally stopped destroying it to a certain extent.
It looks good.
It's doing a lot better. I'm on like what, year 3, I think. I don't know. It's been a long time.
A while.
Anything after 2020. It's all the same. It's all like the same year. It's just been a long, like we're in like what, September 3 or something, or October 3, whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Oh, my birthday was a few days ago.
I was excited because I thought we were gonna get to like record on your birthday, and then like I was exhausted, and you and Haley were doing like a cute like harvest market thing or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was also like, so my camera came. And it didn't have, like, it just has, like, a USB-C thing. It doesn't have, like, an actual USB that, like, plugs into your computer, because a lot of computers have USB-C now, I guess. And so I had
if you bought it in the past 2 years.
Right. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I had to, like, get an adapter on Amazon, and then I plugged it in, and it was fine. But I was just like, why wouldn't you include that? It costs, like, $4.
It's some evil shit.
I know. I was like, Logitech, what the fuck? Anyways.
Yeah, I know. No, I hate shit like that, especially because my computer only has one USB-C port, and I use it to plug in my monitor. But I did hear that apparently they're gonna make everybody switch to USB-C in like the UK or some shit, which
Yeah,
is
including
really
Apple,
funny.
which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
including Apple, which fuck
Good.
them. The Lightning
Yeah.
cable is just a shittier USB-C anyway. So
Yeah, like, it might have been, like,
yeah,
better at one point, but, like, Apple hasn't really innovated in, like, over a decade. So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a great estimation. They kind of. I think now, like, what the back of the phone, just they add more stovetops every time with all the cameras. So
Yeah,
it's
just,
all.
like, 4 little dots. It's just, like,
It's
the
like
whole thing by the end of it.
yeah. It's all fine. I I don't know. I'm an iPhone user, dirty iPhone user, mostly because I mean, honestly, it's simpler, and my
I
phone
feel
doesn't
that.
slow down as often. When I used to have an Android, my fucking phone would start lagging after like a year or two, and I've had this phone for like 2 years, and it's been fine. So
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, you have had that one
yeah,
a while. Yeah, I
yeah,
think, like, I don't know, it's almost, like, out of principle. I had an Apple laptop, a MacBook for, like, you could ask Chevall, that shit lasted, like, 12 years or something
oh
like
yeah,
that.
rest in peace.
Yeah, that thing was a
Yeah,
trooper. And I really liked it, but I know they don't make them like that anymore, like, literally. So
literally.
just I might get, like, an iPad or something eventually to do some digital art because, like, I don't know, but then I would rather just get a tablet so I can, like, use it for all my computer stuff. So it's just kind of like, oh, I don't know. So
Yeah, it's almost too many options, right? It's like
yeah, it's so weird.
because
It's so weird. Having that
yeah,
many options because like Wacom was like the only digital art thing for like years, and then Huion like started making
yeah.
stuff, and then now there's like 10 different brands that people talk about them all. It's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, and then you have people who are like, I just draw on my iPad, and it's like, okay, well, screw you too, I guess.
Like,
So,
great. I'm glad you're making stickers on your iPad and having a good time. I mean that genuinely. That sounded really
yeah,
sarcastic, but like people.
it's funny because I knew you were being genuine about it, but I was like, that sounds snarky. But I
I
know
sounded
he's. I know
so I
he's
was like, that sounded incredibly rude, and that was not my intent. I'm good at tone, but
oh
but yeah,
man, I
there's a lot of options now. It's hard.
well, you get to well. Well, I'll give you a way you can beat up on people a little bit because the Strive crossplay test starts tomorrow. You know what that
Uh,
means. It's time to
let's come
destroy
fight
people.
us.
Let's go fight. Let's go fight some people. So for
Ready.
people who don't know, Guilty Gear Strive is trying out crossplay. They're going to
Mhm.
launch it soon afterwards, hopefully, but the beta is this weekend. And basically across all consoles, it's free for everybody to play through. You have to like download a separate application for the consoles, but it's free to play. All the DLC characters are unlocked. All the characters are unlocked. You can just go through and play it. So if you have not played this game that we never shut the hell up about, um, you should be able to start playing it probably the day this podcast comes out,
Yeah,
and go
yeah,
online and fight people. Just be wary that there are people who have been playing this game like a year and a half at this point,
yeah.
and they're mean. So
It's us. We're the people
yeah,
who have been playing it for a
yeah,
year and
it's
a half.
me. It's yeah,
It's Jamal
I'm the mean one.
specifically. I'm not as good as him, so
Shit, no, Cal's gotten a lot better. He won't ever admit it. We'll be
no.
playing Strive in like two more years from now. He'll be like, I don't know, man.
I'm
That's
just like a newbie. I don't know. What is it called? Downplaying. Just
yeah.
downplaying all the time.
People gonna start calling you a fucking hustler and shit. You're like, I just got
Like,
second in the tournament. It's
this
fine.
fucking grifter over here. Yeah, that's me.
He came here with this ooh woo shit and then whooped all of our asses.
He came in with
With
his pink
Testament.
Sato skin and just beat everyone up.
Oh gosh, I say that while I play like the softest characters in the game, but you know it is what it is. It's fine. I play the little trans girl and the hippie with all her little
Yeah,
minions, so
yeah.
I can't really talk about anything.
If you see Chevall online, you should
No, you
fight him
don't.
just 'cause it's fun, but don't. Also don't.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah,
cry.
no, don't fight. No, but in all seriousness, this is a fun time to pick that up. So go ahead and try that. I was very jealous of people who got to get in the Street Fighter beta, so I'm going to take my anger out on that with some
Perfect.
Guilty Gear. Yeah, I have been like consuming every video to do Street Fighter 6 all week, which has also made me laugh because fighting game players never change. Every time a new Street Fighter comes out, people say the same thing they said about the last one. People were like, Street Fighter 4 sucks. 5 is going back to footsies and basics. And then now it's Street Fighter 5 sucks. 6 is going back to basics. Or the other way around, 6 is so cheap. They have this move. Everybody has this move that has armor on it. 8 years ago, Street Fighter 4 is so cheap. Everybody has this move with armor on it.
Chevall has been like helping me do exposure therapy with Street Fighter because I have I have like a lot of apprehensions about playing it because of a friend that used to be. I think I've talked about this before. I had a friend who was really into Street Fighter, and he was not a good person, and so I have a lot of negative associations with it. But when 6 was coming out, Sean would not stop sending me stuff. He's like, "Look at this! Look how cool this is! This is really cool." And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." So I wound up getting 5 when it was on sale, and we've played a bit of that. It was why I hadn't played Strive for a while, actually, because I was mostly playing like Street Fighter with Chevall or playing roguelikes as per always.
As one does, yeah.
As one does. So that was my MO for a while. But yeah, it's been interesting playing it, and I've been enjoying it a lot more than I expected, which has been nice. But
yeah,
getting back to Strive has been good.
No, Strive is still my favorite at the moment. Street Fighter 5 is just like, I don't know. It's not an anime fighter, which I feel like is what people are expecting when they see an 2D fighting game. Yeah. And it doesn't work like Strive or BlazBlue or Persona or any of those, right? Yeah. But I still like it because, like, I don't know, it's just so simple. Like, you don't have to do the 50 hit combos. You can if you're a dickhead and want to take down 80% of somebody's life, and sure you can, but you know, the game's not like based in that. So I don't know. I'm glad that you're playing it now because I'm like, yeah, this is a good game, and we need to prepare for 6 so I can use Jury and like prove that I'm not a foot fetishist. I just like the character. So it should...
Everyone remember this. Remember this until Street Fighter 6 come out.
Yeah, remember it until 6 comes out. Yeah. So you get about whatever amount of months. They haven't told us when the game's coming out. I'm assuming.
No, just like vaguely next year, I think, is the consensus right now. But we'll see.
They're releasing a lot of games. Capcom's releasing, I think, the Resident Evil 4 remake. I think there's another Resident Evil coming out next year too. So they got like 3 games coming out next year. So yeah, which I'm also running through Resident Evil 4, which is still very tense, but also one of the most goofy ass Scooby-Doo ass games I've ever played in my entire life. Like, it doesn't make, like, what happens in the game doesn't make sense half the time. Like, you're on a jet ski 1 second, and then you have to like ride like a platform over lava to go grab a key, and then there's like fire breathing stone dragons and shit. And this is a game that is about zombies, so none of this makes sense. But it's a good Halloween game. Yeah.
I feel like that's a good way to put it from what I like know of like Resident Evil 4. So
yeah, it's still spooky as hell. It's still like the sound design in that game is still like ridiculous. I have to like turn it down sometimes. I'm like, no, this is scaring the shit out of me. I don't want to hear this music right now. It's like dudes moaning and like this like hard like bass in the background or whatever that's like real slow, and it's like I don't need that in my life. I'm looking forward to watching some more scary stuff and playing some more scary stuff though. And I think I want to watch Hellraiser, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be good or not.
I like Hellraiser. Fun. It's stupid.
It's stupid? Okay, good. That's what I mean, the original Hellraiser's stupid. They had Vagneck or whatever the hell her name was, but I think she's back in this one, but
wait, is there a new one?
Yeah, there's a new one that came out. It's on Hulu. A trans woman is playing Pinhead. So yeah,
how did I miss that? I'm disappointed in my wife for not.
Yeah, no, you should go ask Sasha about it. I'm sure she knows about it. It just came out like last week too, but
okay.
Yeah,
I feel like I like vaguely know about this, but like it completely left my brain at some point. So
yeah, I know it's been getting teased the past like year or so. I just forgot about it until it came out. Like it literally popped up on our fucking Hulu feed, and I was like, oh, it's out like right now. I can just watch it. So I don't know, but I kind of want to watch the original one just to check, because
I think you should watch the original first, just because I think you should do that. anyways most of the time. Not with everything, because sometimes the original is worse actually. But
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
the first Hellraiser is really fun. It's very like the gore you don't mind, and then like also hokey, but also kind of harrowing in some ways. I don't know. It's a well done movie in my opinion. There's a reason it's a cult classic.
Let's rock.
We are back to Berserk, everybody. Now, for you guys watching on YouTube and in other places, we have visuals, so you can probably see exactly what we have. So right now, we're going to read what is on the very legal website up here. Not gonna say it out loud. Just kidding. Read Berserk. We're on chapter 50. Congratulations, yay to us. We're like a 16th through this fucking manga.
I remember when I got to this point when I was independent reading and I was like, oh, we're close, right? And then I like kept looking forward, trying to find the eclipse. And then I was like, oh my God, we're still like 40 chapters out from this shit.
Yep.
God damn. And then
That's the
after
fun
that,
part.
it just like flies by, honestly. I feel like getting up to the eclipse is like the like, because you're anticipating it, right? Like you know
Yeah.
what's, even if you haven't like read Berserk, you probably know something about that because it's so big.
You've seen imagery. You might have seen
Yeah,
imagery. You might have seen a meme or something. I think one
yeah,
of my
or
favorite memes is I'll put it in the description, but it's like a
I
Steven.
don't
It's
know.
like Steven Universe going like he told me he's a good guy. He's not he told me he didn't mean it. It's
He
all
didn't
okay,
mean
guys.
it. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the,
Oh,
the eclipse is around the corner, and if you've been reading along with us, even if you don't know exactly what eclipse is, we've been told about it. Some big shit is about to happen, right? Like something is going on. So, meanwhile, we'll go ahead and get to our recap of the past two chapters before this one. Last episode, we caught up with Guts and Casca post sex. Woohoo! Congratulations to them; they really did it. But later on, they kind of have this conversation about Guts leaving. He's like, "Hey, actually, after we rescue Griffith, I'm just gonna head out. I I don't want to actually stay with you guys. Psych. After right after sex, right? Perfect timing for this. They're both still naked. It's all good. Casca rightfully freaks out, even after he's like, "Well, yeah, you can come with me, right? It's fine. I can keep stabbing you with my dick." I'm not joking. That's basically what he says. So,
romance.
so it's very romantic, right? So, anyway, they have that little moment and they go back to camp. At camp, they're like, all right, listen, it's time to move out. We have a plan to go get Griffith. We have the intel we need. There's a secret entrance. We'll go find it. So everybody saddles up and they go and head to the cemetery. There's a little secret symbol that's on one of the tombstones, which Pippin pushes right over to reveal the secret entrance. This is where we left off. And if you want a more in-depth version of that, go to our previous episode, episode 30, which, sorry, does not have a video portion.
No, this is
Crybaby emoji.
new thing, and we
Yeah,
are not retconning it, so we're not going back and fixing our video.
exactly.
That would take another year, honestly.
No, yeah, that would take a, yeah, no, yeah. So we are on Infiltrating Windham, chapter 2, and we have this awesome spread of Casca and Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte. It just there's a lot of royal women in this in this manga.
I
You
love
have to
that
keep track
Casca's
of.
royalty now. It's like,
Yeah. No, just look at her. It's Casca.
yeah,
So
I love
So we catch up with the Band of the Hawk, and they got into the cemetery. They went underground underneath that tombstone, and it seems to kind of opened up quite a bit. So they're like I would say it's like sewers. It's like catacombs. They're like under the city, basically, right? So they're sprinting through, and all Guts can think about is Griffith, right? How he had this great dream of ascension. Nothing flies above the hawk, et cetera, right? And part of what he says is, you would never come down to the land where we crawl. The boundless hawk, frustration, resignation. There's no one who those words fit less, right? So he's thinking about like how he's so composed, how he's so all together, and how he doesn't need a reason. But in between all these thoughts, he thinks back to the time he was like, "Tell me, do I need a reason the time for when I saved you?" Thinking about Zod, or when he asked him if he was cruel. So these moments kind of pop into his head while he's thinking about how strong and stoic and calculated Griffith is, but you know, these thuds kind of cut through and, you know, negate some of that. And, you know, part of what he thinks about is also when Casca says, you know, Griffith's no good without you. And, you know, he can't really finish this thought, but the last thing he thinks is, if that's true, if that's the case, then but, you know, as he gets to this last thought, they actually reach an opening. So, you know, Casca says, yeah, we're here. And, you know, Guts kind of is like, well, we did definitely find this passage pretty easily. To which Judo is like, yeah, we have somebody on the inside, don't worry. So they exit through what seems to be another grave, which is definitely like in a mausoleum, it seems to be. There's a lot of different religious figures and like tombs, I'm assuming, of like royalty. They have like, you know, their own sculptures put above their graves, which is inside of Midland, right? So they're inside, well, Windham. Windham is in Midland, right? I think that's how
Windham's the castle, Midland's the kingdom.
Kingdom, right? Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, cool. So they're in the mausoleum, and they see a light in the distance, and, you know, Guts is already ready to, you know, cut down whoever it is, but it turns out it's just a woman in a cloak, and we're assuming this is the person who helped them, right? So she's like, "Wow, we've been waiting for you. You really did come. Thank goodness. I kept wondering what was to come of us if you did not arrive. I almost expect to see ghosts here, right?" So, you know, Guts saying what we're all thinking is like, "Who the hell are you?" And, you know, she's like, "Oh, hey, you shot a hay pal at Lord Julius when you were with Lord Griffith." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" So she takes down her hood, and surprise, it's Charlotte, who we have not seen since Griffith left. So it's been a year. She's, you know, about the same, but looks more depressed. I wonder why. It's almost like her dad went fucking insane or something. So this is good news. I, for one, when I was reading this part, was not sure if she was still alive. So when it turned out to be her, I was like, okay, cool. Charlotte's still here. That's great. So Guts is shocked. He's like, wow, the princess did this? That's crazy. But, you know, Casca's like, shut up, dummy. We like, don't spoil our good luck. Let's be nice. So she starts doing the bowing thing, like, hi, I'm Casca, the leader of the Band of the Hawk, the acting leader. She makes not sure to not say that she's the leader, right? And she's like, you know, the four of us are present here tonight because, you know, we have gratitude for the way that you've given us entry in here, right? And Charlotte kind of just, you know, skims over that. And she's like, oh, yeah, I remember you too. You're the one I told to keep Griffith safe when you guys were setting out to Doldry over a year ago. I didn't know you were a woman, though, which, you know, Casca is clearly a bit embarrassed by this. And we see Guts giving probably the most like shit-eating grin I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I don't know what he's doing here, but it's my favorite thing. Him and Judo are kind of snickering. But then we also see this thought from Casca that's like, I wonder why, which is, you know, she's a real woman now because she had sex, right?
Yeah,
so that's how it works. After you have sex, you're a completely different person. So Guts, of course, makes a joke to Judo and is like, yeah, it's because it's dark, right? She took her for a woman. She couldn't even see her, right? And gets a lantern directly to the face. So, yeah.
Oh,
good on you, Guts. Good old Guts. Like I said, he's really annoying these next couple chapters.
Yeah. Feminist king as well.
Feminist king, Guts. So, you know, anyway, after smacking Guts in the face and kind of brushing off the "you're not a woman" comment, Casca is like, all right, well, there isn't much time. We need to get to Sir Griffith. You know, which she kind of corrects herself after saying Griffith, right? She's trying not to be too casual, trying to remember she's around royalty. But, you know, anyway, the group head outside. It seems to be like midnight or like dawn, like dusk or something. It's like really fucking dark. So it's either like super early morning or in the middle of the night. And they're kind of walking through the castle. There don't seem to be any guards out. It's pretty clear outside. And, you know, Judo kind of remarks on like, I wasn't expecting this kind of homecoming, you know, referring to the fact that they snuck inside. Mm-hmm. But, you know, as they're kind of walking around, which is cool because, you know, they don't really have too much to worry about. Casca's thinking about Charlotte and how she's the next in line for the throne. And, you know, she has a pretty good, you know, disposition despite, you know, having to take over an entire, you know, dynasty or whatever. And then she thinks about how, you know, she's Griffith's and, you know, Griffith's mission for success and that, you know, if Griffith still sees her as necessary for his goals, you know, especially after they rescue him. But, then she realizes that she also has a lot of feelings for Griffith still, and it still bothers her that she's jealous of anything he does that has to do with Charlotte. And as that's happening, Guts walks by, and she grabs his hand, right? And he kind of looks down like, huh? Like he's like, wait, are we like on a mission or something? What's going on? And she pulls her hand away as Charlotte says something to her, and Charlotte is apologizing, and she's like, well, I'm sorry about what happened all those a year ago with Griffith, and I really apologize because he's my dad, right? Like I feel responsible for this. And Casca's like, I don't think that you should feel responsible. You don't need to apologize. You're the reason that we got back in here. You're the reason we can even still get to Griffith. And Judo decides that he's just going to ask straight up, right? He's like, so, however, we're never going to clear the air like this. What was Griffith doing in your chambers the night he left, right? And, Charlotte starts, blushing. She gets very, like, embarrassed. And, one of her handmaids is like, Your Highness. She's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. That night, Griffith was in my bedroom. And, we get this really, like, I hate this shit face from Casca right afterwards. She's like, oh, God, I knew that that's what was happening, right? But before she can have this little mini breakdown, a couple of guards come walking around the corner. And, we see Judo and Guts get prepared to go into battle in case they need to. But, they kind of calm down a little bit because Charlotte turns directly towards the guards and just confronts them immediately. And they're like, what are you doing out on a night like this, right? And then they realize it's Princess Charlotte and immediately start bowing. They're like, oh, God, how rude of us. Why would we even ask? It doesn't matter. You can be out here. And she's like, it's okay. It doesn't matter. You guys can lift your heads. It's fine. I was just going for a walk. I mean, it's okay. Like, I can't stand it in the palace. I can't breathe, right? She comes up with every excuse basically to like turn them around. And she's like, I will go back inside in several hours, which to me sounds hilariously like that's a wild time frame to give guards after they see you
a few hours. Don't worry about it.
It's midnight. I'll be back at 4 a.m. It is what it is. So, they kind of question it. They're like, well, I mean, I'm not too sure about that, but here comes Anna, the handmaid, with a bag full of gold, and they tip the guards, just bribe them a little bit, and they're like, all right, the best of you and your bodyguards, see ya. Even though, I'm sorry, they've seen Guts before, they know what he can do. You can't tell me one of these guys didn't recognize something, right? So,
fine.
So clearly this gold is worth a lot to them, right? So, they were able to get past them, and, Guts kind of compliments her, and he's like, hey, not bad for a, shelter princess or whatever. And, almost on cue as he says that, she collapses. Due to anxiety and nervousness. Reminder, this is another princess. The second princess we've met in the story that is locked up and can't go anywhere. So she's probably very frail, right? So she's like, I was very nervous, but like you said, I can't do anything anyway. It's just, I could just manage to be able to do it. But I can do it only because I'm doing it for Lord Griffith, right? Which we get another excellently sad panel of Casca just mourning the fact that, she still thinks that, Griffith is probably going for Charlotte and that there's already something there, right? But, as she's having her another little freak out moment, probably like the third or fourth of this chapter, Guts, kind of gives her like a bro hug. I don't really know what he's doing here, but he like grabs her and he's like, hey buddy, should I hold your hand? And she's like, let go of me, get out of here. But of course, because she kind of does want to hold his hand, she just grabs onto his cape and kind of like tags along, right? And he kind of makes fun of her in his head. He's like, you're not some lost kid, I thought we'd be keeping some personal feelings out of this, which is funny because that's like they said as much before they went out to go get Griffith, but of course they're two early 20-year-olds and they're like, yeah, we just had sex. So they're very clingy. And they can't even hide it when they're, on a fucking infiltration mission to save their leader. Anyway, they finally come upon this old-looking tower as, I think Guts says it, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of hard to tell who says it, but it looks like something.
He's like, that's old as shit.
Yeah, he's like, that's one old-looking tower. And Judo, being the, information machine that he is like, it's the Tower of Rebirth. And among the many towers in Windham, it's the most ancient. They say it's been here since the time Midland was established, possibly even before then. I don't know exactly why it was built, but it seems in times of war, and during the in times of war, prisoners and during the Inquisition, heretics were imprisoned underground beneath this tower. So yeah, it's very mysterious. It literally has been here longer since Windham. So just keep that in mind as they go into whatever the fuck this is, right? So, Charlotte corrects him and is like, well, no, even the underground part is a prison now. And I'm pretty sure that Griffith is at the lowest level of this prison. So, Casca's like, hey, thanks for the help. We're going to go on ahead without you. I really appreciate it. But Judo kind of pulls her over and he's like, you sure about that? We could use her some more. And Casca's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I mean, she could make a good hostage if we need one. And Casca's kind of taken off guard by that. She's like, she's the one who helped us out by this far. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to do that. And Judo's, if you invite her, she might come along. Like, I don't think it would really be that big of a deal. And that's what Griffith wanted anyway, right? She'd be right with him, so it would all work out. And Casca doesn't like that, but can't really say that out loud to Judo. So she, doesn't really say anything. But because they didn't realize they were in earshot of the rest of the group or something. Charlotte's like, no, yeah, I don't mind that at all. I do want to go with you guys. I'm gonna ask you actually. I want to go into the tower with you. And the last thing we see is her asking while her handmaid is in the background, like, what the fuck are you thinking? No, Your Highness, I don't want to go in there. Mostly because she's gonna have to go too. So
yeah,
that's the end of infiltrating Windham Part 2.
Slash.
Yeah, poor Anna. Poor Anna throughout like this whole section.
Anna goes so much. She's the real hero of the chapter. She tries so fucking hard, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry.
Poor Anna.
I did not take a break to figure that out. How to put that up because I knew the whole time.
No. That hard cut was nothing. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. So we are on the next chapter, which is chapter 51, I believe.
Yes.
And in the books, it is the Festival's Eve, chapter 1. So this is a two-parter, but we are going to stop on this one for today because there's still plenty to go over with all of these. So we're splitting it up a little. But Charlotte is still standing there, and she's like, so, like, will you take me with you? And even Casca's kind of taken aback. She's like, oh, Your Highness, like, I don't know. And Anna's like, no, like, we can't do this. That's crazy. Like, if, like, people find out, then everyone will, like, be in a huge panic. And, like, your dad will be so upset. And Charlotte's like, shut up. I don't give a shit. I fucking hate my dad. I don't acknowledge him as my father. And Anna's like, what the fuck? That's really something to say. And she's like, don't worry about it. Just forget it. Casca, and like immediately turns to her. She's like, please, Miss Casca, like, I've almost never been away from here. I don't know shit. I can't ride a horse. I can't use a sword. And I'm just going to be a burden probably. But like, if I can do it, like, I will do Lord Griffith. She always calls him Lord Griffith. If I can be with Lord Griffith, I will do anything at all. And Casca's like, and like Guts is very unimpressed with all this. He just wants to get inside. Pippin's kind of in the same boat, but Casca's like, no, I'm against this, and everyone's like kind of surprised, and she's like, you may like be a good hostage, but like eventually, since we're in like this weakened state, you'll probably take us down because at the end of the day, like, he's a criminal right now and he's gonna be a fugitive. And if we are pursued, like, we could be pursued across the border. If you're with us, it could be like a huge national scale thing. We don't even know if we'll make it out. He'll always be on the run. And also, like, if like news gets out about this, his name is going to be ruined forever because people remember him as the person who took the princess hostage. And he could like never go do anything again. Do you even give a shit about that? And the princess is like, she's real sad. She's just like, I just want to be with him, man. And Guts is like, why the fuck are we talking about this? So I need to go inside right now. And and Casca's like, it's like a pity, but if your thoughts really are like solely on Griffith, like please listen to what I am saying to you right now. And Charlotte does not listen to what she's saying. She immediately starts throwing a tantrum. And she's screaming and she's like, no, like never, I won't do this. I say I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be with Lord Griffith. And everybody immediately like claps their hands over her mouth and are like, please be quiet. We are not supposed to be here right now. And I love how even like Pippin in this panel is just like, don't say shit. Like, be quiet right now. And they're thankfully everything is quiet. Doesn't seem like any of the guards heard. And that's like that's quite a princess. The hell of a fucking princess. It's like, I mean, we can't let her go. She's just gonna start screaming again. And like tying her up would probably be quickest. And Charlotte's like struggling and trying to say shit and she's crying and Casca looks down at her and is like, like you can take your hands away. And everyone's kinda like, I don't think that's a good idea because she was just whatever. And Casca's like, I understand. Like, let's go in together. And Charlotte immediately like tears up, like crocodile tears gone. She's like, really? And Casca's like,
big spoiled kid behavior. Yeah,
I know, like big princess energy. But Casca's like, but like if Griffith tells you like it's futile, you gotta give up. Like, you need to. And she's like, okay, I guess. And like in her head, she's like, I'll just convince him, like in quotation marks. And I'm like, you had sex one time. I don't
a year ago.
Work the way you intend it to. But Guts is still like, we're still talking about this. Why are we still talking about this shit? And Anna's like, well, like, what do I do? Like, what about me? And it's very obvious that she's gonna be going and she knows it. But Guts is like, had enough of this shit. Sun's about to come up, let's go. Like, we gotta go in. And so he's kind of hurting everyone inside, and he happens to see Casca like hanging back. And because he's a sometimes decent boyfriend, not boyfriend, whatever the fuck their relationship is, he's like, hey, like, you good? And she's just like, I'm a horrible woman. And he's like, what the fuck? What are you? I'm a horrible woman. And he's like, I mean, it sounded right what you said. I don't think you like did anything wrong just now. And she's like, yeah, that's true. But like somehow like hearing the princess talk about Griffith, it just like, and Getz is not like that, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, he's, he finally has this connection with Casca, and she's still thinking about Griffith, and he's like, all right, whatever. Like, right as she realizes what she said and like the implications of the person she said it to, and she's like, I am so sorry. And he's like, you're making
my bad.
He's like, you're making like a huge deal out of something fucking stupid, and you're the one who said not to mix personal feelings. And Griffith's right here, so we need to fucking focus and get inside. And she's like, I'm sorry, and like goes like out to touch him. In her head, she's like, what the fuck did I just do? That was so stupid. And Guts pulls away from her because he's pissed. And honestly, I don't blame him if I'm being real.
But Griffith.
But Griffith. And he's like, like I fucking said, we don't have time for this. And like everyone is looking back at them because they're having another fucking lovers quarrel in front of God and everybody. And so they start hurrying inside, and we get Guts' his little like internal monologue moment where he's like, I can't fucking stand it when you brood over Griffith, but like what I really can't stand is that I'm just gonna let it happen, like at the end of the day, because the one who really is still attached to Griffith is me. and they come up on the tower, and thankfully we don't get a huge internal monologue this time. We start getting into the actual action of things. Judo gets to be really cool for a second and like does his little knife tricks and kills both of the guards. And then they grab the keys and shift him out of the way, and then they all set into the castle. But meanwhile, we get this lovely scene. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
yeah, there's this. We're overlooking a forest outside of Windham, and we see the rest of the band who couldn't come along, who are all injured, and they're fixing some people up still, and Rickart's there helping with everything. And the guy who's like, I don't know if he's a medic or just like one of the more medically informed people of the group, but he's like, talking to one of the wounded, he's like, you gotta hang like in there because like Griffith's gonna be back and you'll have to haunt him if you want to see him again, And the guy's like, no, like I'm gonna see the boss. I'm gonna make it. Like you could put so many stitches in me, I could take it. He's like, okay, man. So,
sure.
Yeah, but Rickert he's like, all right, bro. But Rickert gets sent off to get more water, and as he's like passing through the camp, like he sees everyone's spirits like considerably like higher than they have been in the past, and it feels good. He hasn't seen everyone like this in a while, and it's just a little bit until Griffith comes back, and it's been a huge like detour. They've been through so much shit, but like it's all gonna be good once Griffith gets back. And as he's like pulling the water, he happens to see something like across the lake that they're next to and where he's pulling the water from. And at first it's just like a vague like light in the distance, but as it gets closer, he realizes that it's an elf, like as it flies over him. And he doesn't really like know what to do with that information. He's just kind of like, oh, well, I saw that. Like, what's going on? That was an elf. And right as he's like trying to process this information, he hears a huge like a bunch of noise coming from the camp, and he's like, are we getting fucking raided right now? Like literally, like when things are just about to get better. And he starts running to camp, and he's like, we just had to make it like a little bit longer, and then Griffith would have been back. Like, how the fuck did this happen? Why would it end like right now? And as he gets back to the camp, it is just completely destroyed and completely dark and on fire. And that's where the chapter ends right now. We got a little cliffhanger this time. I'm sorry.
Rickart's having a good time.
Hey, we're all having fun. Rickert is going to he's going to be safe and well, and nothing is going to happen to him for the indefinite future, I promise.
No traumatization involved.
He's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is where we left off that time. And where we leave off today.
Slash.
So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, as per usual with all of this.
Yeah. So my favorite dynamic of this is a lot of the dialogue is about the love triangle that the Griffith Guts Casca thing. It's like sort of a love triangle, except like I guess like Griffith's connection to them is like a dotted line. Like he's kind of like, yeah, you guys are really close to me, right? So I don't know. The one moment that really took me off guard when I read this was whenever Casca just said straight up to Guts, because she trusts him so much. She's like, I just can't help but thinking about her with Griffith. It really like pisses me off, right? Boy, the way I read that, I was like, why did she say that to him? And then he immediately is like,
he's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like, why are you telling me this? And like, it's great that he feels that comfortable talking to him about it, but also on the other hand, like, you didn't have to say all that.
It's been a year or two.
Yeah, it's just so much. I was like, Casca, what?
Yeah, maybe don't do that. That combined with her little spiel, even though she was right? I feel like she was really channeling Griffith, whatever she was giving the big spiel about why they shouldn't kidnap her and why they shouldn't take her with them, right? she like is like, well, logically, this, and this, right? When what we really know is like she just doesn't want her to come. She doesn't. She's mad that Charlotte's even the informant. Like she's mad that this is even who he had to talk to.
It's probably like something where Judo had to be like, look, like, we need to be okay with this, and you need to be okay with this, and this is what's happening. And she's just like, whatever, fine. And I know that paints her as like very petty and everything, but also she's an early 20-something. Every early 20-something is petty. Like that's kind of how I feel about it, you know. Like, it's not just like, oh, she's petty because she's a woman and she's in love with Griffith. It's more like she's petty because she's young and stupid, and like it's this guy she cares about, but she also has another guy she cares about, and she's still learning to deal with all these things. And it's just like, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, and Guts is petty too. I mean, he fucking left for a year because
he
had to find himself or some shit. Like whatever the fuck that means. I don't. Yeah. That's kind of the funnier part to me is like that's like I like how everybody's like personalities kind of get to shine a little bit, you know, post all this shit happening. Like, you know, Pippin obviously has the most dialogue out of everyone, but
he's so verbose.
Seeing Judo kind of like, you know, poke and prod at stuff, kind of try to get the answers out of people. He already knows why Casca's mad. He's kind of suspecting that something happened between Casca and Guts. So, you know, just kind of seeing the little bantery moments. Anna, for God's sake, Anna's like the funniest part of these chapters because every time they decide to do something, she's like, stop! Stop doing that. I just want to keep my job. Everything's already shitty, but like, if they find us for this, like, things could get worse. So,
like, I don't want to lose my head for you fuckers, but I'm also like obligated to the princess, and I'm gonna do my fucking job. God damn it! Like, I'm gonna get this shit done. We're gonna do it well. But
good characterization.
Honestly, she's a real one for all of this. Like, she did not have to bribe guards. She did not have to go with her on this like little midnight like excursion or anything. Like, all of everything that she is doing is like so much more than what she needs to be doing, honestly, and I respect her.
Oh yeah, it feels like she's like, I don't know. It feels like she might have been one of the only ones that would go with her, honestly, probably, because she was the one I think that might have. I don't think she was the one that caught her right with Griffith or whatever.
I think it was an older person.
Yeah, it was it was like another person over there. So like she's just down to clown as long as Charlotte's safe, right? So it's good to see her in here because she's like kind of the comedy relief too. Because the whole time she's like, "This is the dumbest shit we've ever done. Why are we doing this?" And you know, another good part is, you know, Guts kind of trying to be like, I think the way that he keeps saying to the second chapter, like, "What the fuck are we talking about? He's in there." He's right that we don't even have to talk. We can just go ask him. He's in there. He's at the bottom. What are we doing?
Why are we speculating about his feelings? Let's just go. We'll find out when we get there. If she wants to come and risk her neck, I don't see why the fuck not. You know, like he's. Yeah. I feel like Guts is very much like you make your choices and then you live with them kind of person.
Very, very much so. Very much, especially later on. Yeah. That's his whole personality.
So, to him, like, all this must seem, like, incredibly fucking stupid, where he's just like, why are we still doing this? You know, like, he's not having it. And, like, honestly, I don't blame him because, like, Casca does get a lot of feelings involved with this because she already knows something is up with Charlotte because she's was, like, Griffith's target the whole time, too. And then Charlotte basically confirms, like, yeah, the reason you guys are on the run is because we fucked that night and got caught.
It was my fault.
Like,
not
she's
bragging or anything.
It's kind of her fault, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's my dad. I feel like I should take, like, responsibility. And the Judo's like, so what happened, though? Like,
yeah, that part killed me because it was in the middle of her being like, sorry, my dad did all this. And he's like, yeah, your dad. Anyway, what actually happened? Can you let us know what actually happened instead of your fake version? Yeah. So, and I thought I was also surprised that she even told him exactly what happened, especially all the nobility stuff or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I also
at the same time,
like, young, and these are people who are like older than her and seem to know a lot more than her. So there's kind of like that kind of pressure. That's kind of how I was viewing it. Like, so also he asked her directly. Like there was no wiggle room at all. He's like, "What happened?
Yeah. What happened in the
What's going on?
bedchambers?
I know already because I'm judo, but like, what happened?"
Gosh, there is one other moment I thought was a little corny. I think it's when they first meet Charlotte and they're like, haha, she couldn't tell Casca was a woman, and then Casca's like, what changed? And it's like
Okay,
that just killed me.
I didn't think it was Casca saying that. I thought it was like Charlotte babbling and being like, "I knew you were a woman this time, though. I wonder what changed."
I wonder what changed.
Crazy.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah,
it
no,
could have been
that would be
Casca.
funny.
I don't know. That's how I
Either
took
way,
it.
it's funny.
It's like, oh, she's had her like hymen broken or whatever now. Like,
She's like, I have X-ray vision. I can
I can
see he blew them guts up. Yeah, it's.
I can see he got fucking railed.
I can see the damage he did. Yeah, talk about it the way Guts talks about it. Yeah, so that was a little funny, and this is where this manga is kind of funny to me, right? Because it still does all the like goofy ass manga tropes and stuff, like all the goofy faces. Guts's face when he gets hit in the face with the lantern is probably one of my favorite panels in this whole comic.
It's a good one.
Like his little like sly ass stupid face getting smacked.
Shit eating grin.
So funny. But between those and even when they're standing right outside and they're still being kind of goofy, I just find it kind of impressive how he does this, and I'm still not like, no, but like for real though, exactly, like I'm not like, God damn it, can we get back to Griffith? Like, it's still all on topic. It's real fast. It's never like, oh, somebody's tits fell out. Let's talk about it for 20 minutes, right? It's like, here's a couple quick panels. Casca's pussy hurts. It's funny. Okay, let's keep it moving, right? Which
I feel like
I appreciate.
I feel like it's because like he doesn't have Puck yet, so he has to like introduce like a little bit of like comedic timing every now and then. Like, hey, this isn't completely bleak, I promise. Please keep reading this.
Yeah.
It's funny sometimes too. And like I agree with you. Like I think because he's so good at expressions and stuff, like it all just feels very fluid. Like there's a serious conversation and then Guts and Judo are just like at each other.
Yeah, it's really fun because you get to see like Judo and Guts have always been close, right? Like that's a cool thing that like you get to see that, like, because he was one of the first people to approach him when he was on the wall, like sulking by himself after he joined the band, right? Like, so it's good that like he's still keeping those scenes consistent. It's not like, wow, we haven't seen Judo and Guts talking forever. Like they're always talking. Pippin doesn't just suddenly decide to grow a mouth all of a sudden either. Like, it's all consistent. And you're right. Once Puck comes in, a lot of that stuff is put into Puck. Puck is a lot of like the, oh my god, why are there guts everywhere? Like, why are there literally like organs all over the screen? And then little Puck pops out with like a dandelion to like smack somebody in the face or something, right?
I got my sword.
Yeah, he has this,
like, where did you come from? I really appreciate it, but where were you until like?
Yeah, it's literally like there's an arc we're gonna read soon that like I think Puck does not change the like seriousness of the arc at all, even though like
it's so heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy, and he's also like almost directly like the subject of it. He's like involved in it, right? But even with him being his little slapstick self, it doesn't take away from it, and that's consistent throughout the series, right? Like, and when something is supposed to be taken seriously, they kind of keep those moments away, right? Like, when we have battles and stuff like that, right? Like, he has the jovial little funny moment where it's like, Casca had her period, and she tells the enemy that's why she wasn't on top of her game last time, right? Like, that happens, but then we don't have that like directly following like a rape scene or something like that, right? Like that hasn't happened, at least up to where I read, right? Like that hasn't happened, right?
I've read a little further than you, and I still haven't encountered that. I feel like he gets better at balancing like very intense moments with humor, because sometimes even with this, it's just kind of like, oh Jesus, okay, I was not ready for that mood switch. It was fine, but like I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
For it. And then with Puck, because Puck is just like a comedic relief character for the most part, it becomes more of a like smooth transition between things, which we can talk about when we get there. But like for right now, I think a lot of like the background interactions, like that's how like friends in their 20s do communicate. Like someone's having a serious conversation, like the dean or something, and you're behind them like you got in trouble. Like... like it's normal, like early 20 something stuff. And I think that's why it works for the most part, because all the banter seems very natural between like stupid kids,
Yeah. And that's why it works, right? Like this isn't like it's so funny. I like Marvel movies, but I shit on them a lot to like make points on this podcast. But it's not like that type of thing where like this has a lot of levity. Why is this like 50-year-old man making jokes at me right now? Like the world is about to fucking end. Can we not do this?
Yeah. We don't need a Stan Lee cameo right now. It's all good.
Exactly. Like it's why I prefer when that type of shit does come from younger heroes like Spider-Man and shit, right? Like it makes sense. They're in that stage of their life. They can't take shit seriously, especially Guts and Casca and all them. Like they've murdered people, right? Like they've been in wars. Like of course it makes sense that they have to take levity wherever the fuck they can, right?
So, and they're gonna have dark senses of humor because again, Guts grew up literally like killing people since he was like 4 years old or whatever. Like it's just like part of his life, and it's part of Casca's life in a lot of ways, and everyone else has also had a hard life. So like Gallows humor is just common. And also sometimes your friend just says something really stupid when she's trying to communicate with someone and they think she's a boy and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you even talking about? What
is she saying? Why did she say that to you?
She's like, it's because she's in the dark, right?
Yeah, you were a girl, and Casca's like, thank you, and everyone else is like,
and if you go back and look at that panel, it's even funny because even Anna's like, why did you ask that? Like she's like, why would you say that to her? So yeah, it's consistent. It works, and also it's never like, I don't know. There's specific anime banter that like I'm here for, and then there's anime banter, manga banter I'm not here for. So when it's like, like there's nothing cruel that the Bandit of the Hawk does, right? Like you've never seen Guts like Fortnite dance on somebody's corpse afterwards, right? Like he'll like make a sly comment and be like, "Wow, that was a big bastard" or something like that, right? But he won't like go like, "Ooh, that was close" or some stupid shit like that, right? So
yeah. I think what you were saying about like younger Marvel heroes having an easier time with that kind of banter, I agree with that a lot. I hadn't really thought about that too much before, but like I feel that's why like Peter Parker and like Jaime Reyes and stuff work so much better than like some of the Green Lanterns making jokes and stuff. It's like you're old. Like you can still make jokes when you're old, but like it's a different kind of humor sometimes. Like you can tell when it's like a younger person writing someone who's older and then not thinking about the voice at all. I feel like that's really evident in a lot of manga and a lot of comics where they're like, yeah, I can just put this horny humor like throughout this, and it's like it doesn't apply to every character though. Like it feels really weird if you're not making like Dragon Ball Z or something like that, like it's not that kind of cast. And I feel like I've run into that recently with certain manga that I've read where I've been like, that didn't hit right. That was a really weird joke, and not like even because it was a bad joke, just because it was the wrong person who said it. So
yeah, I could definitely see that. And I feel like that's just like a writing thing, right? Like,
oh yeah,
you'll a lot of people like to make jokes about how shows these days, which I agree with, right? Like they'll have to write a 15-year-old, and the room is full of people who are like at least 25 and up, right? Yeah. So nobody knows how to write a 15-year-old. I was watching I forgot what the show was. I was watching some Hulu series the other day. I think it was Only Murders in the Building. I was watching that show the other day, and there's one of the characters. It's good. I like it. It is like critical of. It's really really funny, but it's also critical of true crime podcast stuff.
Okay.
But because the three main people, they're podcasters. They eventually start a podcast. God. It's very meta. It's super funny. I've always loved Steve Martin. I just always thought he was funny. But yeah, I was watching that, and there's a character who's like somebody. He's like the stepdaughter of one of the characters, or ex-stepdaughter, and she's supposed to be like 15 or 16. She uses every single slang word from the past 10 years. She says all of them not consistently. She doesn't have consistent lingo. It's just she'll say lit, she'll say that's fire, she'll say something about TikTok, like just randomly, right? And sometimes it's okay, and then other times I'll look over at Haley and I'm like, why did they write this character like this? Like they couldn't have like done anything else. So like we like to make a lot of fun about that, but like it does happen the other way around. It definitely happens with like you have a 20-something who like, I'm sorry, I don't think I could write a very good 45 or 50-year-old, right? Like even where I am, I don't know what it's like to be an old fuck. So
we're out of that, and we're not quite there yet.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing that Miura I think does well is like with Princess Charlotte. What does she do when she can't get what she wants? She throws a tantrum.
Yeah,
which
she throws a fit.
Fucking hilarious.
That shit was so funny. When I first got to that, I like leaned back from the book. I was like, "No, ma'am, what
she
are
said,
you
no,
doing?"
No. She started like waving her arms everywhere and shit. That killed me because I was like, "Oh yeah, no, she's still like what, like 15, 16?
Yeah,
like
I think she's 16 at this point or 17, like something in that. But also, she's been super sheltered her whole life, and her dad has treated her like a baby for like ever, and not let her like make adult decisions or anything like that. So it totally
she's
makes
a baby.
sense. Yeah. She
Yeah.
doesn't have any responsibility in that sense, so of course she's gonna like not know what to do when she doesn't get her way, you know?
Yeah. It makes sense why she does that. And you know, he even the way he writes like Godo and stuff like that. Like one thing I thought he did good with the age thing was last chapter when we talked about because that's part of what Guts told Casca about last chapter was what he was doing during the year. But Godo, the blacksmith, I feel like that was a good like show of the dialogue between like the ages because he was very like he wasn't even like sagely, he just spoke very like plainly. Like he was like, "Yep, this is my life and it's what I do. No, I don't have humor about it. It is what it is. If you find what I'm saying funny, I wasn't trying to be funny." And yeah, exactly. Just an old man, and I feel like he's written well. The next, like, as he pops up more too, right?
Well, so because like he does some jokes later on, but it's like very appropriate jokes for like his kind of character, so it works. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like because you said it applies to all writing. I feel like that happens in YA a lot, where people will like have a voice and they use that voice for everybody, and they use it for adults, they use it for kids, and they use it for people their own age, and it all just kind of
like a James Patterson novel.
Yeah, no, it is
all of his YA, honestly.
It's like, I don't know, to me it's like when someone like shoehorns fandom into a book and you're like, oh, you like fandom, this is just like self-insert stuff for you in a way, you know, like it's one of those things where you can tell like this is your voice, this isn't you thinking about a character necessarily. Yeah. I hate that. It's really disappointing to me, especially with like something I was looking forward to, because I'm like, I want to like this, I really do, but like I don't feel like it's distracting almost because it's just like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand.
And so, it's kind of alienating your audience to insert yourself.
Yeah, because like the kids either sound like too old, the young people sound like way too young, and they're saying things old people do not say, and like, because like each generation has different slang. Like, and my boss won't ever watch this, so I can say it. She still says out of pocket when she means out of office. So she's like, I'm gonna be out of pocket, like I'm gonna be out of pocket.
Oh, she just what's she gonna say today?
I haven't corrected her because it's really harmless and it's really funny. And technically it can mean that, but like I've never heard someone use it that way before. And so like to me and everyone my age, we're like, you're out of pocket today.
You're out of pocket? Oh, shit, she out of it all the time. No, that's really funny.
Out of pocket.
I've definitely heard that. Like there's a lot of people who do that when they mean out of.
Like, when they mean, I think I'm just gonna be away or I'm not gonna be available, and they're like, I'm
gonna be out of pocket.
Yeah, me too. I am completely out of pocket.
I'm out of here, bro. I'm doing what the fuck I want. Yeah, Oh my god. See, I feel like that kind of stuff is like it's important to get those kind of differences, right?
Right.
It's like, you know, I don't know. It goes into accuracy because it's not even about like being stingy about stuff. Like I think it's always funny when you get mad. I get mad about this stuff all the time when you have like something that's like this takes place in the 80s, but they use a song that came out like 91 or something, even though it fits the vibe of whatever they're trying to do.
Hates that.
I do like, too.
Least favorite. I don't always know when stuff comes out because I'm bad at time and I'm bad at dates. Mm-hmm. So sometimes Sasha will be like, that came out like 5 years after this movie is set, and I'm like, oh, ew. And then, like, I can't like unhear it for like the rest of the movie.
That happens to me all the time with a lot of horror stuff has been doing that recently that's placed in different decades. They'll do that, and I'm like, it took cursory research. It literally just took you Googling what time did this song come out and then trying to find a new choice, right? So it always pisses me off, and I can forgive it occasionally. But usually, if I even like know that, like for instance, like Stranger Things, I've heard because I haven't watched this in season 2, because I got like 3 episodes of season 2 and stopped.
Oh, I understand.
I just was bored. Just side note, I was just bored. I was so bored.
Neither of us like Stranger Things. Sorry if you do.
Sorry, I think there's like 4 seasons now. Holy shit! How they even get?
I hope you guys enjoy your Funko Pops because there's so many of them.
Oh God, y'all keep going. But like even that show, right? They do a very good job. But there's occasionally where I'm like, that wasn't the fashion. Like y'all kind of are just going for the trope without thinking about the decade you're in. Like, so I don't know. Which is funny because like, was I alive in the 90s? Half of it. But do I know what they dressed like? I can probably have a really good like answer for you if I had time to research it, right? So like I don't know, like just that type of accuracy, whether it's like the period or like the age specifically, like, and I get it, we're talking about a manga, it's not like, you know, super descriptive and stuff, but from what we see from the characters and the characterization, like everybody acts differently based on like where their place is in this universe, right? So, and I feel like it's all pretty well done. And, you know, that's why all these micro interactions make sense. It's why Casca being so stoic or whatever doesn't work out, because she's also a very young woman who just had sex for the first time and is having all these conflict. Yeah, of course, like if this were a 40-year-old character, even if it was the first time she had sex, she'd probably be like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I got shit to do. Let's go get Griffith, man.
I gotta go do my laundry. I gotta like save this guy. Like we gotta go. Like this is. I don't have time.
She starts smoking a cigarette right after and be like, let's go. I'm just like, I'm just imagining like biking instead. Just like okay, kid, you get out of here. We have to go save Griffith now.
Amazing. I love it. I would read that. Yeah, I think like with fantasy stuff, you have a little more leeway, you know, because like I think we've talked before about how Miura uses like so many different like influences for like his designs, like across Europe, across Asia, across like literally every continent, and he's just like, I like that. I'm gonna put that in my comic.
I'm gonna use it,
you know, and it's a fantasy, so you can kind of get away with that for the most part. We will talk about that more later. So much.
Soon.
I hope we're already, because oh boy, do I have things to say. But Jesus Christ. But yeah, there's like you have a little more wiggle room, you know, like you can mix decades around, you can like make your own history. And because Miura does have like a relatively solid world that he's built, like he can get away with that stuff. And so I honestly think if he like wrote Ages poorly, it would have been kind of shocking, just because like
he's around that age too. Yeah. Like everything else is so. That's the thing. We even see a mausoleum in this chapter, and the mausoleum is like, it's so weird to me. Like this, and this happens a lot. Like reading a lot of Japanese like manga or like even other media. And I see people. It's like I talk about the Evangelion thing a lot, right? Where it's like they use the religious symbolism because they thought it looked cool. Yeah, they thought it looked sick, right? And that's kind of how I see a lot of religious figure stuff in a lot of anime, unless it is like they're beating you over the head with it, like, no, this is about God, right? Like that's happened a couple times. Like, usually, exactly, that was exactly what I was thinking about.
Got you.
So unless it's something like that, usually it's like this weird like. You can tell they took the aesthetic purely, because even in the mausoleum, right? There's in the mausoleum where they meet Charlotte. There's like these guys that kind of look like Jesus holding Bibles and stuff,
Oh yeah, they have
and
like saints.
they're kind of doing the saint thing. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? This is just the influence. We don't know like what gods they actually. We don't know yet, right? We start to know later after.
Find out later.
We don't know yet.
I'm excited.
It's very interesting. We will the religious chapters are really cool, but we
Okay.
don't know exactly who they worship. I don't even know if Miura knew at this point, right?
No,
When he
probably
was
not.
writing.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I think all that
that's
comes later.
and that's the thing. Like this panel really kind of made me laugh because like there's like not a cross on the Bible. There's a lack of crosses. That's what it was for me. Where I was like,
Oh, like it's all the
yeah.
same, but there's no cross.
Yeah, there's no cross, and I find that in so many different things. I need to come up with better examples, but definitely like in Cowboy Bebop, there's like a scene in a church, and you can't really tell it's a church unless you know like about the stained glass stuff and all that stuff. And it's because they use it because it was dramatic. And this is gonna sound really rude, but I think that is so cool when they're like, I saw Christianity, fuck all that other shit. I like that shit. That looks cool. I like the way that looks. What? King James? I don't give a fuck who that is. Give me that book. The nigga, he's on the crucifix. He got nails in his hand. Like they just see the shit and it looks cool. And I'm like Nier Automata. Nier Automata has a lot of stuff about Adam and Eve, and there's like biblical references in it. It's because it's cool. Adam and Eve are two brothers. It barely has anything to do with like it has some stuff to do with the Garden of Eden a little bit. They borrow from the concept. Has nothing to do with actual religion. It's just borrowing themes because they're like, that sounded sick. And controversial opinion, if a lot of the times when religion is used like that, I think it's fucking sick. And I prefer it like that sometimes. Now, if it's like a movie I did want to talk to you about, I finally watched The Witch, even though you've been telling me to watch it for years. When it's something like that, that's different. I want that. It is very well done, etc., etc. But if you're something like Evangelion, it's an excellent movie. We can talk about it after. I want to talk about it after the summaries, but yeah, it's like when I see it just aesthetically, I like that shit because it's kind of like yeah, we liked the aesthetic of it, and then we stopped reading,
which is hilarious subjectively.
Yeah.
Also, to me, it's kind of like I feel like they like have the right to do that. Given how like especially how like Western cultures are about like anywhere in Asia where they're like, I saw like a temple in Asia and I'm gonna apply like all this weird ritual shit to it and let them like put it in my Marvel movie or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many things that like we've done that in comics and stories and like whatever, especially with like South Asian stuff, like with Indian culture, where you know, it gets like a very sinister slant a lot of the time, and then like with like Japanese shrines and stuff, it's always very like spiritual and pure in a lot of ways. And then sometimes it's really scary because there's a ghost, but like you're used to it being pure, so it's extra scary. And like
purity in Japan,
there's a lot with that, and you know, like in countries like South Korea, like they're largely agnostic and stuff like that too. But people still apply like Japanese stuff to Korea, which is a whole nother thing. That's a whole other ball of wax. But like they have a lot of like traditional shaman practices, you know, and it's very different from anything else. But they also have a huge like Baptist like sect that is like specifically like South Korean Baptist, which is very different from a lot of things I've experienced, honestly. So it's just very interesting to me how, like, in Japan, like, the Eva thing has been hilarious to me since I found out about it, because I was like, oh, like, there's some symbolism in here, that's cool. And then, like, I read the thing where he was like, yeah, I didn't know what the fuck it meant, I just thought it looked cool. And I'm like,
Crosses
you know what, hell yeah, man, you should go ahead and do that. Like,
why is Adam crucified? Because crucifixion looked cool. Why is he named Adam?
Cool.
The name Adam is cool. It's fine.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. And like with Christianity specifically, I feel like it kind of deserves it. I'm not even gonna lie; it's already taking from so many other religions. And I'm getting spicy. But it's already.
I mean, no, you're right though. Especially like I'm sorry, like we do so many things in America that just either fetishize or like bastardize a lot of Japanese or Eastern Asian cultures. I mean, like look at like the cyberpunk genre, right? Like
Yes,
That's
it's an
just
excellent example.
ooh boy. As much as I enjoy some cyberpunk media, it is incredibly like awful towards Asian people, specifically a lot of Chinese stuff. A lot of it is implying that like basically they're like gonna be tyrants, take over the world. So
there's so much with sci-fi where it's like, oh yeah, we're all gonna speak Mandarin someday. I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
what are you doing? That is, we could talk about Firefly all
yeah. Oh, we can talk about Firefly all day. I feel like there's so many things like that where it's like they're like, especially like we only speak this one language and it just happens to be a Chinese language, right? It's severely racist. It's super
it's
racist.
so
It's
racist.
really weird. So anytime the religion thing happens, I think it's always funny when there's an American watching Eva for the first time and they're like, "Why'd they do that? That's so disrespectful." And then I'm like, "You probably have a kimono in your fucking house. You probably bought a katana and have it hanging above your fucking bed. Like, who asks you?
You bought a like cheap fan at the mall, like vendor stalls, you know, like I don't know. Like there's so much stuff with that to me.
Yeah.
And I mean it's happened for years. Like people have taken from Japanese art without crediting like, you know, Japanese traditional artists and things like that.
Oh yeah. A lot of
West, and that's how a lot of impressionism started in certain ways, you know, like it's constant. It's not just like a recent thing, like since like the 70s or the 50s.
It keeps going.
It just keeps happening.
It keeps going. It keeps happening, and you said it well with like art and stuff. A lot of like our stuff is just like straight up stealing from Japanese artists. Like now we're making like wannabe animes now and shit. Like it's really like it's really bad. Like, and I do want to hear what you have. Okay, actually no. No. Please tell me. I want to know.
So I have a friend, Magic. If you ever listen to this, I am talking about you. But I have a friend who I made through the Guilty Gear Discord that I'm in, and he somehow, despite playing anime fighters, despite being like 20-something years old, has like no anime literacy whatsoever. Like any anime culture literacy, any like awareness of that, because like he saw some stuff and he was like, I don't like that, and he just like didn't concern himself with it for a while. So now with this friend group, he's like starting to learn more about stuff. And I was talking with him the other night because someone got him into Fate. Just like he was doing it like ironically originally, and then he would like realize, and he's like, "Well, I'm into Deep now because like I almost became unironic after a minute." And I'm just like, "I'm sorry," but we talked about it a lot.
The amount of shitlords I knew. The amount of shitlords I knew who were into Fate in college, and it made me just not want to get into Fate because I was like, well, if you like this, then I play Melty Blood. I play Melty Blood all day. I don't care. But
and like I've explained this to him a couple times. I'm like, it's like I know you're in it because you like because he doesn't play the games. He hasn't really watched anything or read anything. Like it's just people telling him things. He's like, that's cool. I like King Arthur and stuff, and like jokingly, like he was like, "Sure, I like Artoria, whatever," and then it became not a joke. And I'm just like, "I'm so sorry, that's hilarious." You picked the horniest anime you possibly could.
Besides like Tsukihime or something, yeah.
Oh my fucking god, yeah.
They're remaking that, by the way. I think they're gonna do the same thing they did with Fate. They're like taking all the porn parts out, but they're remaking it. I'm pretty sure because Melty Blood is popular again. Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me at all. Anyways, we were having a discussion. I think like literally last night about because he didn't know what Orientalism was like as a word. Like he knows what it is, but he didn't know the word. And I brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, like. You know, I was kind of explaining like the background of the word to him, and I was like, to me, like a lot of modern anime culture is very Orientalist, and it's like modern day Orientalism because how people in America consume it. I think I've talked about this before on here too. You definitely talked about it before with you, but like just how people in the West tend to consume anime and view it, and the reasons they like it. It's not because it's cultural appreciation or they're appreciating the art a lot of times. Because they have this idea of what Japanese people are like, and this like fits that idea because a lot of it is fan service stuff that they tend to consume, and like and like as frustrating as it is for me, when Japan like exports more of that stuff, you know, like
they export it because we buy it.
Buying it, you know, there's a market for it, and like people talk all the time about like, oh, Japan, there's like so many pedophiles, which like there's so many in the States too. That's
it's
why
like
they
the call is coming from inside the house. The call is coming from inside the house. Like
literally.
No, and that's a great way of putting it. Like I don't know. A lot of it is Orientalism, like you said. It is like not really like appreciating it, because I always think about like how I consumed anime, which is like I thought it looked fucking cool, so I wanted to watch it, and I liked a lot of the series, right? I watched anime when I was in Japan just because I was I just happened to be watching a lot of anime at the time, right? Like, but I never like took it as like this is an example of what Japanese people are like, right? Like, because it's fantasy media. It's the same thing as like me watching fucking, I guess, The Hobbit and being like, yes, all British people are Bilbo Baggins. Like, it doesn't make any, but they are, but they are. I mean, so
You've seen
I don't. It is weird because we have this come up all the time, right? Like we have. I'm going to bring up the brisket conversation, right? So people don't know. Long story short, there's a trans girl character in Guilty Gear. A lot of people wanted to deny it because the character used to be a cross-dressing boy, right? And she has decided to identify as trans because of story reasons, right? Like it's her own personal journey, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of American, non-Japanese, a lot of non-Japanese people, these are who I'm talking about, a lot of non-Japanese people coming out of the woodworks going, well, that's mistranslation because Japan doesn't like trans people, and actually futanaris are more common than you would know in Japan, and also a lot of these people have a lot of people I saw people who have futa in their do not Google this. If you're listening, do not Google this. Don't Google this if you're listening. It is a porn thing.
You guys don't do this. We're dead serious.
If the easiest way I can describe it is like a femboy thing, right? It's very derogatory towards trans women, right? So
it's more like when it's like imagine a cis woman, but just with a dick. That's what it's supposed to be. And that's why it's different from femboy stuff, because it's not someone cross-dressing, technically. It's a woman, but she just has a penis for whatever reason. Yes. Usually it's like a magical reason or something, too, which makes it even weirder. Anyway,
with that description, you can see exactly how fucked up those people's thoughts about gender are, right? So... like I said, a lot of these comments come from people who are not Japanese themselves. They were forging screenshots. They were sending fake emails to people. Like, they were very serious about this character not being trans. It just out of pure fabrication of what they think Japanese people think, and not just coming to terms they have a fetish, right? So we see this all the time, like with a lot of different mangas and stuff, where they're like, oh, but because I read it in a manga, and because my favorite porn is X Japanese porn category, I know things about Japanese people. And a lot of it I've seen a lot of gender conversations around stuff, and a lot of stuff about gay people in Japan, and how people have come up with this thing now where apparently we like gay people in the United States and they don't like gay people in Japan. When did they start liking gay people in the United States?
Yeah, I would love to know that. That would be really cool if someone would like point me to like historically when that happened, and also when they're like, oh yeah, the woke West, they want to transify everyone, and I'm just like,
yeah, they're gonna transify everything, even though the creators of the game came out and said themselves, oh yeah, no, this is a trans character. Like, yeah, she's a woman. Like they were
like, she uses she, her pronouns. That was like literally the statement they put out.
They had to do this too, mind you. Japanese people had to explain something they made to these weird motherfuckers, like a whole world over, that they meant what they said, because they have this rudimentary, like, everybody is so clean in Japan and they behead every gay person they see, and you know they don't want to see those things here, and it's just like very alien. Like, they think of them as like this like imaginary people when Japanese people are real, and they know that trans people exist, and they can make trans characters in their own
and sometimes they are trans. I know that's like a huge concept to a lot of men on Twitter, apparently, but like some of them are trans. And also, the Bridget thing to me was so ironic because it kind of came on the tail end of like Testament being announced to be like officially agender, you know?
Yes.
And like the way they are presenting now is definitely more like effeminate in a lot of ways, to the point where people think Testament is a woman now, and it's very much like a trans narrative. Both of them are very good trans narratives, in my opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with me. I don't care. I think they're both good.
They're wrong. I mean, it is.
They're wrong.
Like, it's there. It's in the fucking. Read the lyrics to the fucking like character tracks. Like, it's all right in front of you, unless you're like. It's like the Naruto thing. It always goes back to the Naruto thing. It is refusal to see something. Refusal to see something because of your own biases and weird thoughts about cultures you've never actually interacted with. Like, it's weird shit, man.
Guts will get there eventually.
Yeah, Guts will get there. Guts will get there. Next time we'll catch up with him and the rest of the crew. But until then, we appreciate y'all for coming through. It's been good first video episode. We're finally here. Stuff may start changing. We might switch around the layout and stuff, but we're still trying to figure stuff out with it. But it's here. Yeah. We have video episodes now.
It's kind of a test run just to see if like we could even get it working, because I am technologically illiterate sometimes. But we figured it out. So
yeah, no, we got it to work. Yeah, it's all looking good. We have good camera quality and all that stuff. We will make a Twitch channel soon. I'm gonna make us one so we can stream stuff. And it'll just be an easy link. It was funny because I was like, I could just have it be my channel, and I'm like, that's super confusing. So we're just gonna have our own Twitch channel.
Yeah, I think it would be good. Stream on there. Also, maybe we'll do a live episode sometimes. But honestly, having two ADHD people doing one thing, you have no idea how much shit we cut. Or Chevall specifically, because he's the editor most of the time. But goddamn,
y'all would be like flabbergasted. I still have an idea that some of the cut conversations I'll just release only the cut parts on a Patreon. So if anybody wants those, yes, I like. There's stuff I've cut out that we actually don't want on audio, right? But there's some stuff where it's like that was just a really long conversation. So if you guys ever want some of that stuff,
it just cuts in on me being like, and then capitalism.
Talking about me wanting to redacted the presidents and shit. Yeah, no, it's.
Oh my god! Yeah, just talking about the Queen for like literally an hour.
Oh my god! I actually had to cut a bit of that conversation. I didn't cut as much as I thought I would have to, only because I thought it was valuable. So yeah, no, fuck the Queen.
We're a multi-purpose podcast here. We talk about Berserk. We talk about literally everything because we're just hanging out.
Oh my god!
Boy. Holy shit!
So
yeah, thank you guys for listening and indulging us in our continued efforts to talk about Berserk in a serious manner and not always succeeding.
We're gonna have at least 60 episodes, right? Because I think 30 episodes from now, I'm kind of trying to think about where we'll be, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I've reached that part yet, but yeah.
I feel. I mean, like, if we're going by, like, if we have, like, 50 by, like, episode 30-ish or so, then, like, we still have, like, a lot left. I can't do math. You know I can't do I'm fucking dyslexic.
Math is irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
I think we'll have at least, like, I don't know. At least 90 more episodes, probably, if we're being real. So
yeah, we got a bit left. So if we have that many episodes left, it's good. We got the video working now, so that's good at least. Yes. So yeah, I'm excited. It's good to have everybody here. So yeah, just real quick, I'm gonna do my usual thing. I can remember it this time, even though there's cameras. So you guys can find us on Twitter at let's_unpack_it. You can also find us on Instagram at unpackthatpod. We also have a Gmail where you can send us letters where we definitely won't make fun of your queen afterwards, and tell us how much you like the show. It's we are unpacking it. We are unpacking it at gmail.com. So yeah, just shoot us anything over there. You can also become a contributor to the show on our Anchor page, which is linked in the description. Thank you to you guys who've been contributing for the past several months. An update on the donation to Buckle Bunny's Fund. We are going to make that. To do that. Yes. He so Cal is going. Yeah.
life's been kind of whack, but the second I get that, we still have the money set aside.
Yeah.
Whenever I make that contribution, I will update all of you. It's just been kind of a crazy few months in terms of like work and travel and Chevall and I schedules and health and just like
especially health.
Mental health specifically.
We're crazy. Haha.
We're nuts. It's all good. But yeah, thank you guys again for helping with that. And as always, you can also donate to charities even without us. So if you want to support Buckle Bunnies, if you missed this back in like June or July, Jesus Christ, when we were going over this, they are in a pro-abortion group here in Texas. We wanted to support somewhere local. They've been working on things since early 2020 when this stuff was like really starting to pick up in Texas. So they have 2 years under their belt of helping people and like recorded results. So if you want to support them, Buckle Bunnies, I think they have a Twitter. I'm pretty sure they have an Instagram also.
They have a really active Instagram as well. Yeah, they're on both.
Their Twitter's not as active, but their Instagram is. So you should definitely check them out if you are new and have not heard my spiel on that yet.
Yeah, for sure. Just letting people know we didn't forget about it. The money is literally it's sitting there. It's in our Anchor account, tucked away. It's not going directly to my Cash App or any shit like that. So
we didn't. We were like, we're gonna help people with abortion, and then just like we're not a church. We don't do that shit. It's all good.
No. Yeah, see, we're definitely not radical. So yeah, thank you guys. Just a quick update on that, and thank you, Cal, for giving a good explanation about Buckle Bunnies. It's a very good organization. So so with that, that's episode 31. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Go catch us at all those socials. Check the links in the description for anything else. And if anybody could make me that meme of guts that I asked for, that would be great. I'll probably do it myself, but
I might try to do that. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys next time.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Game over.